What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Luminary Grand, and today we're going to be doing a manga review on My Hero Academia chapters 359 and 360. These chapters are really good. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. At the beginning of the chapter, we found ourselves in what looks to be like the engine room of the UA Fortress. As you look around, you can see explosions and mechanics everywhere, and they seem to be commenting about the UA Fortress losing altitude because of the weight caused by Shigaraki's transformation. The UA Fortress doesn't seem like it was built to handle that excess weight. One of the mechanics looks around and she sees students just standing there, and she tries to talk to them, get them to get back to work, but then she doesn't recognize them. Kind of find out these students are students of the business course, and she asks them what they're doing there. They respond saying they're documenting and keeping records of everything that's going on, so that way they can promote the heroes for the future. They're saying their main goal is to be there and document everything, so they can bridge the gap between heroes and the rest of society, so that way they can show them the way they achieve victory on this day. From there, the next panel shows the aftermath of Bakugo's Hauser impact, and this panel is amazing. I really love the way that Horikoshi just designed this explosion, because this has to be one of the biggest explosions I've seen Bakugo make outside of the one he made in the Two Heroes movie. This explosion is so massive to where it looks like it's blowing out the back of the UA Fortress, even pushing it from its natural position. Just the spread of this panel is amazing. This blast, I can't wait to see this in an animation, because it just looks great. It looks great. From there, we could go back inside of the UA Fortress, and Cementos and Paolo seem to show concerns about the blast, but Momo just explains that it was probably Bakugo. One of the Electric Quirk students powering the UA Fortress complains about the blast, saying that Bakugo has no restraint, but Kaminari comes and explains that Bakugo isn't the type of person to make rash decisions. He's actually very calculated, so he's not going to do things haphazardly when it comes into battle. Then we go back to Bakugo and Shigaraki to see the result of the Hauser impact, and Bakugo has taken significant damage already in this fight. Basically, it looks like he's not really lost, but basically has scarred half of his face from what I can only assume is the recoil of the Hauser impact, and his right arm has been crushed by Shigaraki. So things aren't looking very good for Bakugo. I'm not going to say that this is like a death flag or anything, but yeah, Bakugo's it looks like he may be out of this fight, but we just don't know. But Shigaraki then starts to explain what happened, saying that Bakugo condensed the blast so that way he could minimize the amount of environmental damage, but also by condensing it, he increased the sheer force of the blast so that way he could damage Shigaraki. And then he just starts talking down on Bakugo, saying that with all the growth that he's done, no matter how much he grows, he's still not impressed. Mirako, Best Genius, and Edgeshot try to come to Bakugo's rescue, but Shigaraki explains that getting up close and personal with him means they're in for an imminent taste of power that rivals All Might. And this is not the first time I've seen this. Ever since Shigaraki has gone under his transformation, they keep explaining that they keep using All Might as a reference for his power, saying this power that he has currently rivals All Might. So I'm very curious to see what happens whenever Shigaraki and Deku come into contact, because the only way Deku can reach All Might's power at this moment of what we know is by combining it with Fujin. And I'm curious to see how he implements that throughout the rest of the series. Mirako, Best Genius, and Edgeshot try to come to Bakugo's rescue, but Shigaraki says to them that getting up close and personal with him means they're in for an imminent taste of power that rivals All Might. And this is not the first time they said something about Shigaraki having power that's on par with All Might. Ever since Shigaraki came from his transformation, they keep referencing his power to All Might and using him as a power scale. So I'm very interested to see how Shigaraki will be able to stand up to Deku, or better yet, how Deku will be able to stand up to Shigaraki, considering once he gets there, Shigaraki will probably have all of his quirks, so he'll have these physical capabilities along with all his plethora of quirks. Bakugo starts to reflect on the gap in power between him and Shigaraki, saying that he doesn't even hold up to the major leagues. Shigaraki starts to talk to Bakugo, getting in his head, saying that the only thing that's valuable about Bakugo is the fact that he's close friends with Midoriya. Aizawa calls out to Mandalay, asking her if she has any updates on Deku, but Mandalay replies with no, saying that the electromagnetic fields of the barrier designed to keep Shigaraki in are interfering with her signal, making it where she can only hear static. Aizawa pleads with one of the other heroes to try and save Bakugo because he has a bright future ahead of him and he wants him to strive to be one of the top heroes of the future. Then on the next panel, we see Sun Eater and Nejiri appearing from the rubble. So I'm super excited about this because finally Sun Eater has gotten back into the fight. He's my favorite character, so I'm super excited to see exactly what he's gonna do in this fight. He starts off talking to Nejiri, saying that he wants to have a proper graduation ceremony. After the battle, he wants to talk to Principal Nezu about throwing them a proper graduation so they can all be sent off together. Nejiri says yeah. Then Sun Eater asks I don't even know really how to even put it. He asking, I can only assume that it was like in a down-to-earth real way. Do we even stand a chance? And then from the ground enters Lemillion, who says, if nothing, we can at least keep him busy until Deku shows up. The big three united again. So now I'm super excited to see what's going on, because now we're actually going to be able to see the big three in combat together to see what they're actually capable of. I'm excited to see how this is going to work. How their team composition works. He states that they have triple threat power, so I want to see the implications of that. We start the next chapter with Shigaraki stepping on Bakugo's head, stating that Midoriya is supposed to be here, right? So he's bound to show up at some point. He says that maybe getting his quirk erased so early is a blessing in disguise, as Bakugo tries to attack him midway. Shigaraki responds by throwing Bakugo up in the air with his foot. Then, while he's in the air, he grabs him by the throat and brings his leg down, destroying his other gauntlet, saying that's a blessing in disguise because Bakugo's corpse will be left intact for Deku when he gets here. Shigaraki then reflects back on the time when he skewered Bakugo full of holes, saying that the fury that Deku had, does he remember that? He says Deku will have a lovely present waiting for him by the time he arrives, and then he gives Bakugo a reality check on his power, saying that no matter how hard Bakugo tries, how much he ascends, that he will never be on the same level as Deku and One for All. Nejiri then comes in, attacking Shigaraki with a move called the Nejiri Wave Pike. Shigaraki uses Bakugo as a shield, which causes Nejiri to redirect her attack, but he's then struck from behind by Sun Eater, who's using an attack called Vast Hybrid Octopus Mirage plus Scorpius Toxin, which is some kind of long-range poison attack. Shigaraki notes the attack, but then forms a mouth on his shoulder, spitting out the poison and calling them pathetic. He then bursts into a massive mound of just flesh and fingers thrashing around everywhere, saying that his body will constantly adapt and that everyone around him are insects. While Shigaraki's distracted destroying things around him, Lemillion comes in to save Bakugo and throws him the best genus, and then he gets ready to fight Shigaraki. But before he fights him, he asks Shigaraki a question. He asked him, why does he destroy? And Shigaraki responds saying the current system of things has failed. And we've seen throughout the story of My Hero Academia how Shigaraki just has a disdain for the way the system is ran right now. I like the fact that Lemillion asked this question because he is the type of character that would come in and speak to the bad guy to understand their motives. Nejiri shoots a spiral of energy towards Lemillion, which he puts his hand up and he grabs it, or it wraps around his forearm, which is pretty interesting. I've never seen him do anything like this before. I don't exactly know how this works, but I'm curious to see the explanation behind it. It looks like he's about to do something really cool. He then answers Shigaraki like, oh, I get it, you've never had friends. And this, the next thing that happens, Shigaraki's face whenever he says this makes me think that Talk no Jutsu might actually work on Shigaraki, because it seems like Lemillion saying that he didn't have any friends struck a chord or something, so it makes him pause for a second. Lemillion continues saying that if you did have any friends, you'd realize that there's plenty worth keeping around, and he strikes Shigaraki directly in the stomach. It looks like this is the first real hit outside of Bakugo's blast that Shigaraki has taken, and it actually throws him back. After that, we cut to Best Jeanist talking to Bakugo, saying that he's done a good job, but not to give up because they still need his firepower. He asks for Bakugo's arm so that way he can suture it, and for them not to delay. But he hears Bakugo muttering something. He looks at him and he hears Bakugo say, "Right side, faint, finger." And even after all this, after all the damage he's taken, Bakugo still hasn't given up. Best Jeanist is caught off guard by this, and you can see on this panel that Bakugo still has fight in his eyes. Even though he's messed up so bad, he still has fight in his eyes. So this is not over for him, but I just don't know how they're going to incorporate him back into the fight by any means. I have no idea. The fact that Recovery Girl isn't on the battlefield, the fact that Aries not there, I just don't see how Bakugo will be able to come back and be of use. But I'm sure Horikoshi has something in mind. I believe that Bakugo and Deku are going to come together at the end of the story and defeat Shigaraki together. But I really am curious about the fact that Lemillion saying that Shigaraki had no friends struck him. So I think this is an homage back to when they showed that a piece of Tenko is still inside of Shigaraki, and Tenko still believes in heroes. So maybe Deku talking to Shigaraki will reach deep within him, and maybe Tenko will come through. I have no idea how that's gonna work, just especially because just what Shigaraki's done so far. He's done so much damage. I just wouldn't expect Talk No Jutsu to work on him. I would have thought they had to like lock Shigaraki up or something, take his quirks or something. But of course, at the end of the series, they're gonna make it to where Shigaraki gets redeemed and gets to have a regular life, because it wasn't his choice to become Shigaraki. It wasn't Tenko Shimura's choice to become Shigaraki. He was manipulated by All For One, and All For One changed his life. But that's it for the chapters, guys. I really like the direction that My Hero is taking. Horikoshi's doing an amazing job. These panels look amazing, but I don't even know what to expect in the next chapter, because we're officially gonna get the big three working together. Possibly some more dialogue between Best Jeanist and Bakugo. I'm very curious to see what he's gonna do next, because Bakugo still has so much left in the tank, and his like offensive IQ, like his battle IQ is like irreplaceable. So there's still plenty of ways they can use him, but I just don't see how he's gonna go back out there and be of use. But thank you guys for watching. You guys tell me what you think about the chapters, your thoughts, and your thoughts and your ideas, any predictions that you may have, and put them down in the comments below, and I'll go down and read them and we can talk about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.